Hi, I'm John Alexandrov. I'm here today with Bob Kalagher, who's the president and CEO of Ross Mortgage. Bob, initially I'd like you to talk a little bit about the history of Ross Mortgage. You know, Ross is becoming much more of a household name right now than maybe it was, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. But if you could fill us in on the history of the company, I think people would find that interesting.
Sure, John. We started Ross Mortgage. My father and I started Ross Mortgage almost 11 years ago now. We started off in Leominster, Mass., and we started off with one basic philosophy, and that was providing a high level of customer service to the average borrower out there.
So, Bob, everyone talks about high level of customer service, and we're better than the next person, or not better than the next company. And that's what you're claiming. But I mean, I know from working with you, the level of service here is second to none in the industry. But maybe you could define that a little bit better. I mean, it's a great business philosophy that we're going to provide better customer service than anybody else. You actually do it, but I'd like you to explain some of the ways how you do that.
Well, statistically speaking, buying a home, especially buying your first home, is one of the most stressful events you'll ever go through. It's third only to divorce or death of a close family member. So what we do is we try to set up the process so that it takes the stress out of it for the customer, really for everybody involved. One of the ways we do that is by doing all of the work up front, getting all the paperwork up front, explaining the process from start to finish, so that you're not waiting around at the end of the process hoping that you're going to get a clear to close and closing on time. We actually set it up so that you're getting a relatively clean approval letter and your loan is cleared to close a week or more before closing, so you're free to worry about such things as moving or buying new furniture for your house.
Well, Bob, it's kind of interesting. I'm hearing, it's October 2012 right now as we're recording this. I'm hearing all kinds of horror stories out there from clients of mine, realtor clients of mine, about how companies are delaying closings, and some of the big banks, we won't mention any names, but some of the big banks are taking 90 days, 120 days, in some cases even 6 months to close a single-family residential loan. However, in your case, you're getting them closed in some cases in weeks. So what's the difference here?
The difference is the process. When you deal with one of the larger lenders, and again, not mentioning any names, they have the best intentions to get the deals done on time. But when you're dealing with a company that has 10, 20, 30,000 employees nationwide, they can't provide the same level of service with the same speed that we can do it with. Where you could be waiting weeks just for your loan to get into process with one of the bigger lenders, the loan goes into process within a matter of hours here, and you've actually got a processor that's local, that's assigned to the deal, that's going to introduce themselves to you, explain their role in the process. Underwriting is right here in Westboro, so you don't have to worry about having your loan underwritten in the Midwest or some southern part of the country. We're committed to the communities we serve, and our operations centers are located in those communities.
Well, Bob, you initially mentioned that 11 years ago, you and your father started Ross Mortgage in Leominster, Massachusetts. Your father's since retired, and although he's still involved in the business here and there. But you've expanded beyond Leominster. You just mentioned Westboro. I mean, you've got offices in Leominster, Westboro, I believe Woburn as well.
We also have an office in Maine.
In Maine, a small satellite office in Worcester, and soon to be in Rhode Island.
Yes.
There's not a location chosen for that yet. However, I know Ross is expanding into Rhode Island quite aggressively. So, when I hear that, Bob, I would say, wow. I mean, here's a family-owned business started 11 years ago, probably a small family-owned business in one small office, and all of a sudden you're in 4 or 5 different locations. You're in multiple states now. So obviously there's an additional business philosophy beyond treating the customers well and having great customer service that has allowed you to grow at that level. So what are some of the other reasons why you've been able to do that?
I believe that loyalty starts with the company. And one of the ways you show loyalty is letting your employees actually have lives. There are many companies in many different industries that expect employees to live their lives in the office. We don't. We want people to enjoy their families. We want them to have activities they do on the weekends besides working. That doesn't mean we don't expect people to put in the extra hours when it's needed, but that's not a matter of practice. It's how we deal with things when they get busy, and sometimes when rates drop, you can't really prepare for it. You have to deliver the level of service to our customers, so people, work together as a team to get everything done quickly. But as a regular business practice, you can't expect people to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. It just wears them out.